Okay, people. So, thanks to my boy Scott, we got to look at a new alien invasion film, Alien Country. This is the new one from Boston McConnaughey, right? Boston co-wrote the film with Renny Grames. The film is produced by Grames along with Danny Simone. It's executive produced by Gordon Moulton, Jordan Rosner, Gato Scatena, Rochelle Brooks Smith, and Trey Woolner. It's co-produced by Sharan Prabhakar and Judy Day. Associate produced by Ashley Ellefson. Line produced by Bryce W. Fillmore. With some consultancy from Alan Newell Vega. Michael Lee Bishop took care of the music. Wes Johnson is on cinematography. Right, Jeff Johnson and Robert Milo Andrus handled the casting. Jennifer McGrew and Hafren Wolfson were production design. Art direction is Isaac Dubeck. Jennifer McGrew and Hafren Wolfson also were on costumes, right? Special makeup and all of that jazz. We have Kelly Donahue and Sherelle Nesselrode. And our cast, right? Our cast. Well, actually, it's probably easier if I just go here. Okay, so Jimmy Walker is played by Casey Clyde. We have got... Okay, this is... I went too big. Everly, right? His paramour, right? She is played by Renny Grames. Right, Jimmy's brother Johnny is played by Corbin Alred. Corbin's wife Melanie is played by Rochelle Brooks Smith. They have a daughter, Elsa, played by Peyton Myler. We've also got Jimmy's dad, James, played by Jason Wade. Right, there's Officer Kirk, played by Trey Woolner. Jimmy's Nana is played by Barta Heiner. We've got Sheriff Rogers, played by Sila Agavaleo. Dubeck is a cop. We've got Carl, played by Dalton Baker. He is another cop, another sheriff. There is Gina, played by Sharla Boshenico. Her henchman, I guess, Bo, is played by Austin Archer. Gus is played by Joseph Ridehead. A younger version of Jimmy is played by Rusty Grames. So their kid, right? Shelley is played by Dominic Noel. She works in the dinery place, I guess you would call it. I think that is yeah, I'd say that is all our major players, right? That's it. Okay, so the gist of the story. It is. If love really conquers all, how will it stack up in no holds barred arena battle against extraterrestrial monsters? When Jimmy Walker, a local demolition derby driver, finds out his girlfriend Everly is pregnant, he figures it's the toughest news he'll get that day. Yet, somehow, the two of them also manage to accidentally open a mysterious portal, and a horde of bioengineered alien creatures are set loose in the small desert town of Blue River. In a race against time, these soon to be parents must quickly learn to work together and stop the invasion, or their town, their planet, and their relationship will be annihilated. Dum 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 dum. Okay, so that, people, is the gist of the film. Now, we have got a director's statement from Boston, right? It said, hold on, let me. No one in our industry, let alone indie filmmakers, really gets to play it safe. But if that's the case, why not unleash an original, kick-ass story that'll make you strap in, punch, fight aliens, and maybe even find true love along the way? For me, that idea is the homegrown heart of Alien Country. We set out to tell a story that captured everything Remy and I came to love about life in the modern American West, and in particular our home state of Utah. The landscapes are larger than life, but so are the people. The more time you spend in the desert, the more you realize how vast our planet and universe is. And for a lucky few, you might catch a glimpse into the beyond. Alien Country started as simply a love story. And as the idea grew up, aliens invaded. Not only are UFOs and close encounters an important part of the culture where we live, but for me, exploring the themes of what monsters really are in art and movies allows us to focus on the internal mechanism going on inside our minds and relationships. There is a lot of fear and angst when talking about aliens, but the amount of people who have seen something they can't explain is staggering. Rather than treat the subject with skepticism and fear, we wanted to make it fun and approachable. Alien Country took years of homegrown effort, and in the end, I like to say that it's about the time someone created an approachable way to have that important conversation with your kids about UFOs. Now, his co-writer, Renny Grames, and one of the stars of the film, she was a producer as well, and she had this to say. Alien Country may be a knocked up, balls to the wall sci-fi comedy with monster aliens, but at its core, it's a deeply personal story for me. No writing the character Everly, I wanted to explore the tough choices that I and many women face when balancing career and parenthood. When Everly discovers she's unexpectedly pregnant, she's forced to confront the harsh reality of choosing between her dreams, motherhood, and whether or not her carefree boyfriend Jimmy will rise to the challenge of fatherhood. It's like your life is like a demolition derby, and you expect me to hop in the car with a baby? Making this movie has been the wildest ride, complete with the debilitating crashes and burns that come along with driving for your life and putting it on the big screen. Alien Country is the embodiment of my dreams, and yes, I'm a mama now too. So, yeah, that's what our people had to say about this film. Now, after, you know what I mean? What they say, that does sound great. You know what I mean? Like, I like that idea, you know? It definitely seems like it could be a lot of fun. You know, I probably should say, right, this is the feature directorial debut from Boston, you know, so there is taking that into consideration. I think it's also the first film that Remy co-wrote as well, right? So, yeah, I think that definitely plays into what we have here, you know, because as I said, look, the idea sounds a lot of fun, right? You're exploring these different themes. What is an alien? You know, parenthood, love, all of those elements. Unfortunately, I didn't necessarily get any of those things from this film. You know, like watching it, I mean, you can go, I think everyone was having fun, right? Which is good. And look, it's their first feature. So props for getting that done, right? For persevering and all of that. They're fucking around with cars, you know? You got the derby, you're kicking up. Like, there's a lot of elements here that I imagine was very tough. So to be able to do all of this, that is great. You know what I mean? Like, the aliens don't look bad. They don't look bad. They're kind of a hybrid of Alien, right? You know, and dog soldiers. You know what I mean? Like, we've kind of seen them before, but they're not bad effects, right? Like, those effects, the portal, all of that is pretty good. You know, for an indie joint, it's pretty good. The transition to some of those effects are a little jarring. It doesn't necessarily always mesh together well. But they took a big swing, you know, and you've got to commend that, right? Like, I think watching the film, you're kind of like, because it says, you know, Jimmy and Everly are boyfriend, girlfriend. You kind of get the feeling that they're probably not dating when we first see it, right? When we're first introduced to them, you know? So we don't really see this whole, you know what I mean? Look, I love you. Let's make it. Now, I think there's a point where they kind of say the words, but you just think a longer conversation would be needed right now. And some reckless shit is going on. So you're just like, you know, it's that thing where, like, you're trying to make a comedy, you know what I mean? And you are trying to throw in all these comedic elements, right? But you're going to those familiar tropes that we always see, right? Dumb guy, you know, there's Bo, right? And he's like, I was named after a bow and arrow, right? And just all of that. And you're just like, I don't think this conversation is adding anything to the film or our character development here. But, you know, it's there to try and be amusing, but it just doesn't work. Now, I should say it doesn't work for me. I'm sure there are people that found this hilarious, you know? Which is fine. That's great. You know what I mean? Because, like, movies, they're not for, certain movies aren't for everyone, right? And that's the beauty. You can find something that you love amidst everything that we see, out there. You know, we have some, like Jimmy's dad goes, right? But so we have that whole, you know, trope running through, like a kid abandoned by his dad, blah, 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 blah. So we have that. There's some information we find out later in the film where you're like, it doesn't make any sense that that's not passed on. Like, why would you not inform people of this thing? You know, it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. And if like aliens are a thing in your spot, then you didn't think that happened? You know, there's a lot going. We had these flashback scenes, and the sheriff chief is in them. Same age, right? He hasn't aged. He hasn't aged at all, even though they're set in the past, right? Which is one of those hilarious things, you know what I mean? That, yeah, we have flashbacks of people in their younger guises, but it's the same actors. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh man, it's getting cold. You know what I mean? We also have this thing with an alien like inhabiting a body, which, you know, that's all fine. But 1 minute, the alien knows stuff, you know? So you're like, okay, so if you jump into, are you getting their memories? Right? But then on another bit, he's like, what are onion rings? And you're like, either you've got memories of the person you're inhabiting or you don't, right? What is it? Because everyone would know what onion rings are. You know what I mean? Like there are those inconsistencies. You know, we've got our little kid in the film. Kids in films is always difficult. It's always difficult. And, you know, I think what we're seeing a lot now is, you know, people like, you get these young people in films, and instead of going on like ability, we seem to be like, oh, they trend on social media, right? This is how many followers and subscribers they have. And you're just like, that's all well and good, right? They've got a lane, right? They can, you know, resonate with people on TikTok. Awesome. That does not make a good actor. You know, that doesn't make a good actor. Now, I will say, it is, as mentioned, the first film from Boston, right? It's his first film. And it's the first thing, you know, feature that Boston and Renny have written. So maybe some of the acting choices are down to script, right? Which you can definitely say there's certain things down to the script, right? And then the direction, right? The notes the actors are getting. So there is that, right? Because, yeah, we don't necessarily get these fully fleshed characters. But, you know, it is what it is, right? I kind of thought of this film that we covered in 2019 for Sci-Fi London, Alien Addiction from Shay Sterling. Now that was this whole invasion thing. It was a comedy. That was very good. That was very funny, right? And they managed to get that balance right. We don't necessarily find that balance here, but for their first film, as I said, hey, well done, guys. You know what I mean? Well done. You did your thing, right? You can check out Alien Country on all available VODs, right? So yeah, if it sounds like it's for you, you may want to check it out, right? I'd say that it kind of is similar to some of the VHS, right, anthology sequences, so if you really dig those, right, and some of the recent ones as well, then Alien Country will probably be for you. Okay?